born and raised in Miami-Dade County, specifically Liberty City, an area known as Liberty City. I grew up in a single-family home on Northwest 75th Street and 14th Avenue, commonly referred to as Liberty Heights or the Heights, and often synonymous with what's called 15th Avenue or 18th Avenue. I grew up very humble beginnings. They're the tutelage of a single mother and grandparents who were both originally from the Bahamas. And it was instilled in us at an early age, the love for family, the love for the church, for God, and love for community, and a overall love for education. I'm an educator. I've been an educator for 15 years. But I'm also what many would consider an aspiring politician. But I consider myself in all facets a true public servant, someone who is whose life is encompassed of the community in which they live and serve and things of that nature. So the basis of my career is that of overall is just being a public servant, being an advocate for the community, being a parent to the community. You don't work in the school system for 15 years and not become indoctrinated to the like and the goings on of thousands of students, from Edison Middle School to Miami Northwestern Senior High School to Edison Senior High School and Horace Mann Middle School, along with other schools that I've come in contact with, Arcola Lake Elementary. So everywhere I go, I see former students and their parents, and a lot of times you hear their success stories of how you impacted their lives. So that's what I've been doing for 15 years. Individuals ran for office. I ran for Florida State House of Representatives, District 108, which encompasses all of, parts of Liberty City, parts of unincorporated Miami-Dade County, Little Haiti, Miami Shores, El Portal, the Upper East Side Biscayne Boulevard. It's something that was instilled in me from a very early age. My grandfather, James G. Collie, and my grandmother, but specifically my grandfather, James G. Collie, was a civic pioneer in Miami, one of the first blacks to cross the color barrier and vote. And I would hear the stories of my grandfather, living in Overtown at that time. The family migrated from Overtown to Liberty City, but living in Overtown at that time of having to face difficulties of segregation and things of that nature, attainable or goals in my life because of just the stories that he's told. And then there's also a need. There's always also a need within our community for effective, not just effective, but true leadership. From an early age, I would consider myself a leader. When others went right, I went left, and I understood the calling. It's a fair question, but it's a question where you almost, wow, that's a loaded question because there's so many people. The first African-American president of the United States of America. His impact, and not just his impact, his legacy, along with his family's legacy, is one where people kind of think of, oh wow, you can start off with him just saving the automobile industry and the home and mortgage industry, his affordable health care bill, the Obamacare, his ability to to bring about change and ideologies within this country is something that's only rivaled with a few other presidents, such as Franklin Delano Roosevelt with the New Deal. So it's one of those things where you have to pay homage. There are people locally who have been great proponents of civic leadership and things of that nature right here in South Florida, one of which is Athlete Range, who we should hold in high regard civically within Miami and South Florida. Athlete Range is by far one of the individuals that civically has been a major proponent of change within this community, someone who, as African Americans, Black Americans, and anyone of color that we can look up to and be proud of. Her and her husband are commonly known for Range Funeral Home, who's served the South Florida community and our African American and Black community for many years. But a lot of people don't know that Athlete Range was one of the first Blacks to be elected Black commissioners within the city of Miami. That's something to be heralded, especially in a time where calls for justice for individuals whose lives within the city have been compromised, things of that nature. She fought vigorously in dealing with our youth on a daily basis. Are youth missing something, or do they need to improve on something, or do we as a community of learners, a community of individuals, a community of people, a village, what can we do to improve the youth of our communities, of our societies? And it's simple. We have to really invest time in core values. It's just a matter of us coming together as a village to ensure that we make strides towards bettering the future of our youth. One of my proudest moments came in defeat. Not being elected for office, that thousands of individuals believed in me, went out to the polls and voted for me. And not just me, but voted for my family because they believed in the mantra or the slogan that I use for the campaign, and that's building our community one family at a time. Now, you asked the question about what is our youth missing in its family, its core values. Everything that I'm saying is encompassed and interwoven into one. So even in defeat, that was a very proud moment for me, and it was a very proud moment for my family and for the community that I grew up in, that I cherish, and they embraced it because it showed that there's individuals in this community who are not afraid to say, you know what, let me do something. President Barack Obama in his farewell address said, if you're tired of what's going on in your communities, don't complain. Don't complain. Don't complain. Make sure that you put your name on a ballot. Run for office. Become accountable. Things of that nature. Hold me accountable. So even in defeat, I was very proud because it gave me a sense of hope and prosperity for the future. How could your greatest moment come in defeat? Well, so it's a very simple concept. When you run for office, my greatest moment came in defeat. My greatest moment came with being able to touch so many people within our community, being able to speak to residents across this community about what's going on and actively making a change. Being able to speak to individuals who've been here before I can even think about, my inception. A boy who grew up in Liberty City, who had a dream of one day representing his community, being a public servant, always doing or striving to do the right things in life. My proudest moment is that of walking the neighborhoods with my family, with my wife, with my children, with my mother, with my aunts and uncles and my cousins. My aunts, uncles making phone calls to neighbors and individuals to get them to vote for an individual who understood change. My proudest moment was understanding that in life it's not always about winning, but about making the mark, about leaving a legacy. We need to understand as a people that our legacy is and the easiest way for me to explain this is our legacy is simply a photo album. A photo album of pictures of life experiences of what we leave behind for others to see and for others to live by. And that's in life. You have to temper theory with reality. And a lot of times we have these preconceived notions, or we have these thoughts of how life should be theoretically. But the reality is that life is what you make of it. It's full of ups and downs, high roads, lowlands, things of that nature. And it's what you do with it that really matters. In life, you have to be able to expect the unexpected and be able to deal with it as it comes. Everything isn't perfect. But if we allow ourselves to not have an understanding that how we grew up or how we were raised is the way that we should gear our lives, but the reality is we're living in an ever-changing world. So as individuals, we have to be willing to change with the times, but be able to hold on to the past to ensure a better future. Hey everyone, my name's Taj Collie-Echoles, and you can reach me at www.tajtally.com. You can also reach me on Instagram, Twitter, my Facebook page, Taj Collie-Echoles. You can reach me on Facebook at Taj Echoles. That's TAJECHOLES. And this is the Great 28.